We're here hanging out at the SCT booth for PRI 2012, and we bumped into Jeff Racer from Full Race, mate. You had an amazing show this year at the SEMA show, bringing out your F-150.
Yeah, definitely. Ford came to us and they asked us to build a 2013 F-150 EcoBoost. The big target for this thing was, normally it's twin turbo, so we wanted to convert to single turbo to make a lot more power, but also not lose what makes a truck a truck. It needs to have big torque down low, so when you stab the gas at low RPM, it immediately responds with a big surge of power. So what we did is we worked with Borg-Warner, and using their new EFR turbochargers, we converted it from a single turbo to a single turbo using this highly efficient turbo, and then we wanted to control the computer using the SCT software. And the reason we chose that route was the SCT is basically plug and play. So you just you buy the SCT system, it plugs into the port, and immediately you have full access to all the ignition, timing, and fueling maps. And the big advantage here is you don't have to deal with the wiring of a standalone. You don't have to come up with a base map. You already have great base maps that are plug and play. One of the big targets for this project was to make everything integrate like factory. So we used Borg-Warner for the turbo because Borg-Warner makes the factory turbochargers. We wanted to use SCT because they stick with the factory ECU. And the factory ECU has a really accurate boost control algorithm. Because Borg-Warner makes the factory turbos meant that ECU would perfectly control the boost on the Borg-Warner turbo. So SCT was brainless for us. We had full access to all the ignition timing maps, full access to the fueling maps. The EcoBoost engine has TIE VCT, which means twin independent variable cam timing, so we can control the cams individually. And all this technology is something that we've seen in some of the import cars, European and Japanese stuff for years, and now we're starting to see it in the Ford vehicles. And what's really most impressive is Ford came out with a bang, gave us a top-notch product. So the block has 6-bolt mains, forged rods, forged pistons, and the performance potential is huge. And it's not possible to tap into that potential without the SCT software. It really allows us full access to everything that the computer would control in the engine.
So it sounds like SCT was the real answer for you in this project.
Without SCT, would not have been able to do this project, no question about it.
What have you got in line for 2013?
Well, the big thing we've got in line is right after this show, we're going to go take the truck, dyno it, push it to the limits. We're hoping that we'll be able to touch 500 horsepower and possibly 700 plus foot-pounds of torque. It remains to be seen. We've got to put it on the dyno and find out. So one of the bigger hurdles is that it's a direct injection motor, so we don't have a lot of fuel. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to supplement the fueling with water methanol. So using an AEM water meth, and the SCT should actually be able to control that well, such that when the water methanol level drops, and say the tank was empty, it automatically interrupts the boost control. So it drops boost back down to minimum level until you can fill your tank back up, you key off, key back on, and then check engine lights go out and you're back to normal.
Sounds like exciting times over at Full Race.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, if you want to find out or check some photos of the truck, head to full-race.com. Or if you want to find out about the SCT products that we've talked about today, sctflash.com is where you need to go to get all the info.